Hello dear friends, in this session we'll figure out when it's useful to use Docker while working with GitHub Actions. If you're not familiar with Docker, I recommend you check it out, take a course, or skip the lessons related to Docker. If you're familiar with it, then let's see how it interacts with GitHub Actions. And for those who are completely out of the loop, I'll add a few comments on some basic things about Docker. When we created our workflow using GitHub Actions, we defined the runner, which is a virtual machine. And on one hand, we have a wide range of options. We can choose Linux, Windows, Mac OS, and different versions of these systems. Moreover, each system has a whole range of software installed that we can use. And when we chose Linux, we selected a node, could specify a certain version, and used it all well. It was great, and it's something we can and should use. But sooner or later, there will be a situation where the infrastructure available in GitHub Actions won't suit us, and in that case, we'll have to either use our own created Docker image or use pre-built images that Docker provides. Docker has a system similar to GitHub, meaning it has its own hub of various images, and you can check it out and use any image you want. These are all public images, and you can also create your own personalized images and use them in your projects. Docker has a system similar to GitHub that is its own hub of various images. You can familiarize yourself with it and take and use any image. These are all public images, and you can also create your own personalized images and use them in your projects. In the lessons, we'll learn how to run jobs in containers. For example, we might take an Ubuntu image or a Node image and run a job in it, using not the GitHub Actions runner infrastructure, but specifically in the container. You can also use service containers. What are service containers? I'll explain that a bit more. For instance, we have MySQL and a WordPress image, and we can access them as service containers. I'll even show you an example. The repository I showed in the previous lessons is a starter theme for WordPress, and it also uses Docker. When I clone this repository, the first command I run is to start the containers in Docker, and these containers use, let's open the files in Docker Compose, the following images. Services, it uses MySQL, it uses WordPress, it uses PHPMyAdmin, and Mailhook. All this mix essentially sets up a working WordPress site on the machine, using the WordPress image to have a WordPress installation and the MySQL image to create the database. Next, Docker allows you to use volumes. Since I work with the site on my local machine constantly, meaning every day, a specific directory is added to volumes so that the database I create is saved and not lost. We're not going to use this repository and approach in the course. It's just a demonstration of how service images and service containers are used. Keep in mind that you can directly run containers and service containers on GitHub's infrastructure using Docker, and as you saw, there are over 10,000 different images available. You can also create your own images and use them too. This really expands the possibilities to create your own personalized infrastructure and perform certain steps while writing the workflow. See you in the next lesson, where we'll run a job in a Docker container.